already did this assignment. Do you want us to stay?
I would like you to make sure you have it with you and go over it with me. Then that would be much appreciated. And make sure you're solid. And again, you're voluntary here. You being here is a total voluntary thing. But I would like to go over the test review.
Okay.
All right. So here I have. You should be able to see my screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I needed you to do is copy and paste these. So you just simply grab this and you'd copy it and paste it into the appropriate place. So what I'd like to go through each one. And the first one I want to focus on is mitosis. Would you call this sexual or asexual?
Asexual.
Very good. And meiosis, of course, then would be sexual. Okay, so I want to go through each one. I'm trying to get rid of my bar. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. Okay, so daughter cell different from parent. Meiosis or mitosis?
Meiosis?
Correct. Lacks diversity. Meiosis or mitosis? Come on, guys, help out. We watched a video, and it was about a fish going through the pond, and one of these would be lacks diversity. So is sexual reproduction or asexual? Which one lacks diversity?
Asexual.
Mm-hmm. Single parents.
Mitosis.
Yep. A form of asexual reproduction. We've already got that. Uses a lot of energy.
Meiosis?
It would be meiosis because you have to find the mate, and that takes time to find the mate. You don't need to find a mate for mitosis. Genes are different from the parent.
Meiosis.
Would have a hard time surviving a changing environment.
Mitosis.
Very good. Daughter cells the same as parent.
Mitosis.
Produces clones.
Mitosis.
Causes diversity.
Meiosis.
And it was meiosis, sexual reproduction, produces diversity, produces genetic variation. Variation means differences in species. Obviously. Meiosis. These are the same thing, diversity and variation, just different words. Slow population growth.
I said meiosis.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so that is absolutely correct. Because it takes, for example, the human gestation period is 9 months? I'm not exact. It's shorter than that, but it's close. Uses little energy. That would be mitosis. 2 parents.
Meiosis.
Good. Can easily withstand a change in environment.
Meiosis.
And that, my friends, is the reason why we're talking about sexual reproduction for the process of evolution. A form of sexual reproduction, meiosis, already said. Genes are the same as the parent.
Mitosis.
Mitosis, fast population growth.
Mitosis.
Good. And I'm sorry if somebody typed in. If somebody typed something in, could somebody else read it? Because I can't see. And the only thing I can see is what's that?
Fast.
I think you're going way too fast.
Oh, I'm recording this, so when we're done here, I'll have that recording up. Okay. And so we'll try to slow it down. And if you need me to slow down, please speak up sooner. All the recording will be posted in about a half an hour. Okay, this is something we did right before our break. And it's so good to talk to you guys today. Where is all our genetic information located? What would you say?
DNA.
Okay. I can't deny that. Any other answers?
Chromosomes?
I can't deny that either.
I said our body, like our full body.
Okay. Where is our DNA found? Ultimately, it's found in the
Chromosome.
farther back.
Genes?
So
This question was very, very, there's multiple answers to this, and everything you're saying is right. Where's our genetic information found? Well, ultimately, it's found in the nucleus of the cell, and we can kind of talk about like fine-tuning it. Okay, the chromosomes are found in the nucleus, the DNA, the chromosomes, so all of our genetic information is found in our cells. So with that said, would there be genetic information in my skin cells?
yeah.
What about my hair cells? Could they find my DNA in my hair cells?
Yeah.
What about my blood cells?
Yeah.
Could they find, yeah. What about a sex cell? Could they find my DNA in a sex cell? Obviously, yes. And so the point of all this question is inside of our cells, all of our cells, we can find our DNA. It's inside of our nucleus. All right. Number 3 is a little bit tricky. What is the difference between DNA and a gene?
I said a gene is made out of DNA.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like a little more elaboration, more digging into that.
The gene determines things like hair color, and
So yeah, so genes are more specific. I totally agree with that. Genes are more specific, and they are found inside of our DNA. Totally agree with that. So genes are more specific. They might tell us about our hair color, our eye color, etc. But then DNA is kind of like the bigger blueprint, the entire blueprint of our life. So DNA is the larger blueprint, the larger map that describes our body, but DNA focuses on the more specific stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Can I move on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, I'm recording this. If I'm going too fast, the recording will be up in about a half an hour. You can come back. And then I'm going to release the test. I'll talk about that again in just a minute. Each parent gives us different forms of genes that may code for hair, eye color. What are these specific genes called? We get 2 pair of each.
Alleles.
Number 4, they are called alleles. That is correct. Okay, so number 5. What is the difference between a genotype and a phenotype?
a phenotype is actually shown like hair color.
Okay, so a phenotype is your physical expression. Exactly correct, Tyler. Well, what is a genotype?
Like
Can somebody read that for me?
Is it like a cellular change?
Hang on a second. I want to be able to see
The
who's
genotype is the set of genes that the phenotype is the physical appearance.
Okay, whose answer was that from?
Matthew.
Matthew.
Okay, so Matthew, if I hear a ding, I assume that's going to be you. And Matthew's correct. Genotype is the allele pairs, the genetic combination. The phenotype is the physical appearance of how those genes were arranged. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Man, I miss seeing you guys. I wish I could actually see you right in front of me and have that conversation in real life. You kind of are, right? Okay, homozygous dominant. What does that mean? Provide an example. Who is up for the challenge?
Me. So like an example would be capital letter.
Okay,
Where
so
and
continue.
homozygous means the same. So if it's homozygous dominant, then it's going to be dominant, like fully dominant. It's not going to have a lowercase letter at all.
Okay, totally agree. For the bonus round, what is another name for homozygous dominant? Anybody?
I think it was like pure or something like that. Pure dominant or like that. I don't know. I forgot.
Purebred.
Purebred. Yeah, that's what it's
Purebred. Very good, guys. Heterozygous.
Has one capital and one lowercase.
Who's talking? Whose voice is that?
Maki.
Oh, hey, welcome. Good to hear from you. I'm sorry I can't see who's here right now. It's great to have this conversation. You are absolutely correct. One capital, one lowercase. There is, for the bonus round, what is the other name for heterozygous?
Hybrid.
Very good. Well done. Homozygous recessive. What is that, please?
2 lowercase letters.
Yeah, two of the lowercase letters, 2 of the same, of course. Number 7, what is the difference between a dominant and a recessive allele?
A dominant is the one you see the most, and a recessive is the rare one. Rare.
Okay, I do agree with that. Can somebody else take a spin on that with something different?
Can I read what I wrote for number 7?
Please do.
I put dominant alleles are more likely to be expressed if they are present and the only way a recessive allele is seen is if there's 2 present.
That's awesome. Totally correct. Excuse me, please. Thank you. Very good. Okay, so here is something that, and when you take your test, please, and some people are mathy, you can pick this right up. If you're not mathy, please grab a piece of paper and pencil and do this. And so to help us do this, I made already a chart set out. Heterozygous male paired with heterozygous female. So what letter do you want to use?
A.
Okay, good. Let me grab my pencil tool. I think I'm on it. So heterozygous, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be writing freehand with the mouse, so this is not going to be too beautiful. And a heterozygous female. And I would have capital A, lowercase a, capital A, lowercase a, and lowercase. So what your genotypes would be capital A, so homozygous dominant, what percent?
25.
Yes. And then you have capital A, lowercase a, and what percent? And then the last one, of course, is
25.
Yep, 25. They all equal 100%. So I remember when we started this, people were writing like 33%, and I'm like, how did you do that? They all have to be a 25% factor for what we're doing. Okay, that's that question. The next question says heterozygous male, homozygous dominant female. And I appreciate you've already done this, but let's knock this out. So heterozygous male. And did I say homozygous dominant? Is that what it said?
Yes.
Okay, so we'd have capital A, capital A. How are you guys doing with the Punnett squares? Easy for you?
Yeah.
Questions? Or, I mean, I think it's pretty solid, pretty basic here. We can understand. And here are my 2 genotypes. You have heterozygous and homozygous dominant, and your percentages, of course, would be 50. That's terrible. 50. Good. And the last one, please. Is anybody looking at it? Can you read it for me? I think it says, this is for number 10. I think it's a heterozygous and a homozygous recessive. Can you confirm that, please?
Yes.
That's correct? Okay, so my genotypes here are going to be this, and immediately I can see the pattern, and you're going to be, these are 2 genotypes. I'm sorry, this is sloppy, but you got the idea. 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions?
No.
Trying to do this as fast as possible so you guys can get moving and doing other things in your day too. So, but I will pause more if you have questions.
When's this? How long is this video going to be?
I don't know. Well, we're almost done with this study guide. So in that regards, we only have a couple more questions. We only have a pedigree chart to talk about. And then number 11. Was that Matthew? Can you read Matthew's comment for me?
I'm not getting any of this. It's going so fast.
Okay, Matthew. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back and you're going to pause the video after I post it. And you have till tomorrow to take the test, right? So I'm going to upload this video, take it slow. You can turn this assignment in later. Here are the answers if you need help. And if you need me, you can always reach out to me and I'll check my phone throughout the day. Put a comment in the where this came from, put a comment in the class comment or whatever, I'll get the comment. Okay, so for guinea pigs, black fur is dominant, white is recessive, and central guinea pigs, pig litters from the same set of parents, the following occurred. Black coat, white, so you got some of 12 total offspring, some that are white. Okay, for this to happen, what might the parent guinea pig's genotype and phenotype be? Okay, so this one's a little bit tricky. So you have black fur and white fur. Let's kind of make a Punnett square. Give me 1 second. Anybody think they have the answer?
Yeah, I put heterozygous for both.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah.
So we can kind of use this as our example. Let's say for argumentative, black fur equals capital A. and white fur equals lowercase a. We can go through each one and we can say, okay, is this example right here going to be black or white? This would be black, this would be black, and this would be white, right? Do you agree?
Yes.
So to have an offspring of a child that's either black hair or white hair, could this be the genotype, heterozygous for both? And the answer would be yes. What about this? So this would produce black hair. This would produce black hair. Could it be this combination to have black and white hair? Am I going too fast?
No.
Okay, so if I had a heterozygous male and a homozygous dominant female, would they be able to produce white hair? And the answer would be no. And it would have to be no because white is a recessive, and nowhere here do I have two lowercase letter a's. So this offspring, this parent would not be able to produce a white-haired child according to our Punnett square. Agree or disagree? Questions or comments? I think I went too fast for you. Could this combination produce a black-haired child and a white-haired child? So for example, capital A lowercase, black is dominant, so this would be black, this would be white, and we're using this key right here. This would be black, and this would be white. So could a heterozygous and homozygous recessive parent produce a child that had black and white hair? And the answer would be yes. So both of these could be the parent's genotype and phenotype. It could be both heterozygous, or one could be heterozygous and the other is homozygous recessive. So it's open-ended. Questions? I wish I could see you all. I really do, because I have this feeling that if I'm looking at your face right now, you'd be like, and then you might have more questions and you wouldn't be worried to ask.
I'm sorry, I'm doing something real quick with the internet because.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pedigree charts ready?
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably a little bit small. Is that too small, or can you see it okay? I'll try to make it bigger. Let's go through each one. Okay, so we have this thing called Huntington's disease, and it seems to affect the population. And now we're going to do something a little bit different. And there's a key right here. And so this person would be affected, person number one. This person would not be affected. But you see something a little bit different. You see something where it's half shaded, and that means that they are what's called a carrier. So I want to take a moment and go through each one. And if you've joined us for one of Miss Smith and I's video, or you watched the video, then you would have heard about this a little bit. But if you see a Punnett square, we need to start figuring out what are the genotypes. So what do you think? Can anybody identify a genotype of any of the family members?
What do you mean?
So when you do a pedigree chart, you should kind of always focus on one thing, and you should go there first. Any thoughts of what I'm trying to say?
You should focus on the first generation.
Yeah, and that's always helpful. You should always focus on the people that are affected. Now, this doesn't say if Huntington's disease dominant or recessive, okay? But usually when we see this, we start focusing on the people that are affected. And in order to be like, does this person have Huntington's disease? Number 1, 2. No. Does this person have Huntington's disease?
It's a carrier.
Yeah.
It is a carrier. Do they have the disease?
No.
No. Does this person have the disease?
Yes.
Okay, so that obviously means that there has to be a dominant or recessive allele here. But for this one to show up, this has to be recessive. All right, so let's use lowercase h. So whenever you see a pedigree chart, you can pretty much assume, unless if it says otherwise, that the persons that are shaded are going to be homozygous recessive. I'm going to use letter H. So let's call this person We'll call it H lowercase, H lowercase. What about person number 2? Any ideas?
Capital H, because
They're
she's
homozygous. Absolutely. Homozygous dominant. Okay. Okay, so Punnett square wise, ooh, I have an issue with this. Okay, let's talk about that issue. That's really interesting. If I were to make a Punnett square, this is fun. I don't like this problem already, and I just look at insight. If I have a Punnett square where this person is heterozygous, and this person I'm sorry, if this person is homozygous dominant, the dad, and the mom is. Anybody see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Okay, where am I going with this? What's wrong?
They're all going to be dominant.
Yeah, they're all gonna be, so this would be totally incorrect. So this person has to be a carrier. Has to be a carrier.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah.
Same. It was so crazy.
Good.
I was just like,
confused.
I apologize. Sometimes we do our work and then we don't realize that there are mistakes there, and there very clearly is a mistake. So that has to be heterozygous because we need a dominant letter. So that person is a carrier. Okay. Now I'm really having discrepancy with this. I'm not liking this either, because with that said, there's no way. Oh no, that's correct. That's correct. All right. So what would this person's alleles be?
capital H, lowercase h.
It'd be heterozygous. And this person's allele?
Homozygous recessive.
Yeah. Now there's some more problems in this work now that I've seen this. So that's interesting. I might revisit the test and look at that really quick. I think I'm going to throw out a question or give you an answer on I'm going to give you an answer on the test. Okay, so regardless, this also wouldn't apply here. This question's bogus. I'm sorry, this question's no good anymore. But we can look here. What is the genotype for person 1? They would have to be homozygous recessive. What is the genotype for person 1-2? Well, they have to be heterozygous. That's an error. Feeling kind of bad about this. What is the genotype of person 2.1? Person 2.1 has to be heterozygous because they're carriers. What is the genotype for person 2-2? They have to be homozygous recessive. That's number, okay, so number 16, excuse me. If parents 1 and 2 from generation 2 have offspring, what is the percentage their child will have Huntington's disease? All right, let's take a moment and look at this. Let's scoot this over. I tried to lay all this out for you so we can edit it. Parents 1 and 2 from generation 2. Okay, so we have, excuse me, wrong tool, capital H, lowercase h. Oh, why did I do that? That's weird. And then we have lowercase h. These parents were taken here. And so carrier, they have Huntington's disease. They have Huntington's disease.
So 50.
Okay, so it would be 50-50. So 50 would be carriers. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. I really do appreciate it. It's always good to see you. And then the other ones would be they would be the ones that have. So 50 are carriers, 50 have Huntington's disease. It's Huntington's disease, and we had some questions on this one. And so, and if I look at this right here, so this is a carrier. It's really hard to write with a mouse. And this is Huntington's disease. To have Huntington's disease, is it a dominant or recessive disorder?
Recessive. Oh.
It's completely recessive because the only way you can have Huntington's disease is if you have 2 recessive alleles. Okay, number 18, if you did it, I've realized that this question is incorrect. And I mean, it's a good question. I'm going to give you an answer on the test now. So when you go through the test, before you take the test, look for a comment, and I'm going to provide the answer for you. Please make sure you look there. Okay, so do you have any questions for the moment?
No.
Okay. Matthew had a question.
No.
Who dung? Who blinged?
Matthew, he said no.
What's that?
It was Matthew. He said no.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I am going to post the test right here. Voluntary meeting. I'm going to now, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to post a video here, and then I'm going to post the test. It's going to be right in this section. Okay. I will also provide a comment where it's going to be. Okay.
Okay.
Anything for the good of the group?
I have to go because I have another meeting with my math teacher. So
Okay, cool. I understand. I appreciate that. All right, to finish out the rest of our week, we're finally going into evolution, and I'm going to get into it pretty heavy, and I hope you enjoy it. If you don't believe in evolution, there's no problem with that. Part of expanding our minds is to hear what other people think. But that's kind of the rest of the show.